Hi BookTube, my name is Kristen and welcome to my channel. For those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Kristen Marzullo and I am an author. I primarily write contemporary fiction and romance, and I decided to start this YouTube channel in lieu of TikTok going away. In the last year, I've really fallen in love with long form video content. I love to yap. I love to talk to my followers and my readers, so I felt like this was probably the best platform for me to segue over to. I've been writing ever since I can remember. I have 6 books published as of the end of 2024. 4 of those are in a series called the Remember Me series, and then there are 2 standalone romances, If I'm Being Honest and The Patron Saint of Holy Sinners. I published my first novel in June of 2022, and that was Remember Me. Oh my gosh, I learned so many lessons along the way, from how to format a book to how to get it up on retailer sites such as Amazon and Ingram Spark. Cover design, I think that's my favorite part of every single book. And probably the hardest for me, marketing and finding new readers. That has definitely been a challenge for me, but in the last year with TikTok and TikTok Shop, I was able to reach hundreds of new readers, and people found my books, fell in love with my books. I was starting to get more feedback, more momentum going, and that was kind of when I was like, okay, I could see this becoming a full-time career for me. And that's truly what I really want to do. I would love to just be able to sit and write stories and share them with you guys day in and day out. You'll find in each and every one of my books, I love to touch on real life things that are happening, mostly mental health and important topics that are going on in today's world. So for example, The Patron Saint of Holy Sinners is a small town single dad romance inspired by the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And If I'm Being Honest, we touch on anxiety, PTSD, and survivor's guilt. And in the Remember Me series, we talk about self-love, grief, healing, and complicated family dynamics. My goal with every single book that I put out is to create a story where my readers feel seen and understood in the messy parts of life. The reason I write romance as that backdrop is because there's that given happily ever after, and I just enjoy going really deep, getting really vulnerable with my characters, and my readers know that it will end happily. So even though the characters sometimes have to go through a lot to get there, it just goes to show that at the end of the day, life can be hard, it can be tragic, but it can still be beautiful, and we can still find happiness and joy in the little moments and the big moments too. But as you can imagine, I mean, there's definitely a less glamorous side to being an author. For the last 2 years, I have been a self-published author, which means that I have done it all myself. I have hired a cover designer. I went from hiring an interior formatter to becoming my own interior formatter. I've had to create timelines and stick to those deadlines to get books out on time. I have managed my own ARC team. I do all of the marketing myself, and it's mostly organic marketing, so I'm not really funneling any money into marketing at this point. And it can be a lot. I love it. I love having that sense of control and knowing that I can write whatever I want to write, and I can really connect and engage with my readers in that way. I also love the cover design from the beginning to the end, going from having just an idea in my mind to seeing a finished product is always so cool. And I say it time and time again, my cover artist is a genius. I don't know how she creates these covers based on these briefs I give her. Sometimes I just say, here's the vibe of the book, here's what goes on, here's kind of what I'm thinking, what can you come up with? And every single time, it's like she goes into the recesses of my mind and pulls out exactly what I'm looking for. I've also gone from paying an editor to becoming my own editor and helping other authors as an editor and a developmental editor, and I love it. I love getting into the nitty-gritty of the characters and the plots and pulling out things that readers are going to love and connect to. But it also means I've had a lot of late nights writing, and I've had a lot of months where I haven't had the funds to put out another book, and I've had to question, can I keep going? Is this sustainable for me? Is this the career path I want to be on? Most authors will tell you about imposter syndrome and overcoming self-doubt. I kind of believe that it never goes away. It grows with us, and we just learned to take it in stride and keep writing. I have days where I will read something I wrote and think it's the most wonderful thing to ever grace this earth, and then an hour later I will reread the same words thinking, who let me do this? This is trash. I'm trash. All of it is trash. Which is not true, and I'm so grateful for the readers who hop into my DMs to let me know that that's not true. I love when readers reach out to me and tell me how they've connected with the story or what plot lines they're cheering for. It just really makes those tough moments so worth it. And I think at the end of the day, that's kind of why I got into writing, was to connect with people and to just help people make sense of the world. So when I get that feedback, it just it warms my little heart, and it makes it easier to keep going in the moments when I kind of just don't want to. I think probably one of the coolest parts of this author journey that I've been on is that I've actually gotten to meet some of my readers in person. I hosted my very first book signing. Like, I hosted it. I put it together, everything, sent out tickets, had readers come from all across the country to come see me and come meet me and come spend the day here in New York City. We had brunch, we signed books, we made friendship bracelets, then we went to a bunch of different bookstores here in Manhattan, and that just reignited something in me, and it made me wonder what could be possible if I had the resources, if I had more of a team behind me. What could I do? I would love to go on tour. I would love to do speaking events. I would love to just be out there meeting more readers. But I think as an independent author, I don't know if I have the resources to get me there, which brings me to, of course, I have a bunch of goals that I can't wait to share with you, but number one on deck is that this year I am trying to land myself a literary agent. I know not a lot of people know this, but before I became a self-published author, I did try to go the traditional route. I did the querying, I got some feedback, mostly rejections, I got a request for a full manuscript, ended up getting ghosted. Like, I've done the whole thing. I know what it takes to query, and I queried for a couple of months before I had to take a step back and wonder, do I want this book to be seen by a traditional publisher, or do I just want this book to be seen? And at that point in time, I just wanted the book to be seen. So I put it out, and that's how we got the start of the Remember Me series. And that's how my author career started and took off and brought me to where I am now, which has provided me with so much confidence, so much more wisdom. I have really honed my craft, so I feel way more confident in going back into querying this year with a book that I've been teasing my readers with for about a year, but I have been thinking about it for longer than that. So coming up is a second chance romance that I'm writing inspired by Happy Place by Emily Henry, which should be right there, right behind me. It is one of my all-time favorite books. It just healed something within me, and it made me see the trope of second chance romance in a whole new light, where from the beginning to the end, I was rooting for this couple to get back together. The chemistry was off the charts, the tension, the yearning, the found family that happened in that story. It was all just so perfect. As soon as I closed that book, two characters popped into my head. I really wanted to play with the idea of what happens when life sort of pulls two people apart into two different directions, and they're in that stage in life where maybe following their careers and their dreams takes them away from their chosen partner, and so they end up deciding to break up. But then 5 years down the line, life throws them back together again. So much has changed. There's so much history that they're both missing. They start catching up on it. It's full of drama and romance and yearning, and I honestly cannot wait for you guys to read it. Hopefully I end up getting a literary agent with this one. That's the goal. I'm about 63,000 words into it, maybe 64,000 words into it. My goal is to end somewhere between 90 to 95,000, so I'm in the last 1/3 of it right now. I'm hoping to have it done by the end of the month so that I can edit it and then start querying it sometime in the spring. So my goal is to bring you guys with me on this journey from beginning to end, all the craziness in the middle. You'll get to see the amount of rejections that come through. I'll talk you guys through how to query. If I do end up landing a literary agent, I might share the query letter that gets me there, and then I'll take you along on that journey with me of what it means to be a traditionally published author. I will share as much as I possibly can. I know sometimes because of contract, you can't share too much, but whatever I can talk about, I will talk about with you guys. And then while I'm in the midst of querying, I will be working on another book that I plan to self-publish by the end of 2025. And this is a book that my email newsletter chose. I sent out 3 options midway through last year and asked them based on these tropes, which books would you guys want to see? Please rank them 1, 2, and 3. And the number 1 book shocked me. I thought most of my readers would be really into the second chance romance, but that came in second place. And in first place is a literary fiction where we are following 8 main characters as they try to break into different facets of the entertainment industry. So we have people trying to be directors, people trying to go onto Broadway, photographers, musicians, a bunch of different aspects of the entertainment industry. And we're following these characters along basically like 30 years of their lives. And it's going to be a story obviously about friendship and what it takes to maintain adult friendships, but we're also looking at the struggles of being an artist and trying to break into any sort of creative field and what that does to a person. Some people are going to achieve their goals, some characters don't. There's love triangles, there's drama, there's just everyday life turmoil that happens to these characters. The moral of that story is, how do we find and maintain love as life kind of throws a lot of different things at us. I'm super excited about that. I'm also really nervous. This is the first time I'm trying to write any more than like 2 main characters, and I'm going into each of their points of view. I am about 1/3 of the way through of that book right now, and so while I'm querying, I'll also bring you along on the journey of writing and what it takes to write a book. We'll do more writing vlogs together. It'll be a good time. And honestly, that's it. I just wanted to say hi, book 2, and I hope that you'll follow along with me. I have so much coming your way, so much I'm excited to share with you. So make sure you subscribe and follow along as I try to hit these 2025 goals. And I would love to hear from you guys. Drop in the comments what you want to see on this page. If you have any questions about me or my journey so far, if you have any video ideas that you want to see, anything that you're curious about, writing questions that you might have, or if you're a writer, writing tips for other people, or if you're a reader and you're just sticking around to see what ends up happening, let me know what your favorite books are in the comments. Tell me your top reads of 2024 and a book that you're excited for in 2025. As you can probably tell, I'm also a really avid reader, so I would love to also share with you some of the great books that I end up reading this year. We'll probably talk about the books that have inspired me and the stories that I've written. It's just gonna be a lot of fun. So I hope you'll stick around. I hope you'll become a part of the fam bam, and I can't wait to see where this journey takes us together. Okay, I love you so much. Bye.